If your technical readout is starting to fall apart like mine was, you probably want to know how to fix it. I had several of these back in the 90s, and I remember they all kind of fell apart. I'll bet you a lot of you guys, if you have old ones, these are more like piles of papers than they are books. The difference between the 90s is now is we got the internet, we could fix stuff. So I just watched videos on fixing books for like 2 hours, and I was gonna go do some crazy stuff. So the idea of hard binding one of these things seems kind of cool. Maybe I'll do that later. But I learned something which is pretty interesting and good info. Basically, if you have one of these technical readouts and the pages are starting to fall out, there's adhesive in here that's starting to fail. But this type of adhesive can be reactivated with heat. So what I did is I took my book and I stood it on its end and its side with all the pages in, and I packed it like you would if you're going to do a stack of paper when you put it in the printer. Then I got my iron here, which I have set to 6, which is almost full heat on this one. And while I had this on my countertop, holding it with this hand, I extended the edge over, and I basically placed the iron. I didn't run it back and forth because I didn't want to rub the graphics off with friction. But I placed the iron on the spine of the book for like maybe a minute, long enough to where when I felt the book, I could feel the heat had really permeated into it. And what that did is it reactivated the glue, and I just set it aside for a couple minutes after that until it cooled back down to room temperature. And then when I went to open it up, look at that, sweet. What is that? Wasp lamb? Hell yeah. I saw that my pages are now all rebound and my book now operates like a book, which is great because I love flipping through this when I'm trying to figure out what type of mech I'm going to use for a specific scenario. But yeah, I hope this video helps you out. If you have other technical readout books, these long bound ones, I'm sure it'll get them all back together because most of these things were made in the same era. Apparently some books from maybe the 50s or 60s have a different type of adhesive, and this technique doesn't work, but it definitely worked for mine really well.